Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV Presents True Crimes. So we're going to be talking about the story behind the movie The Shining that was based off of Stephen King's novel, The Shining, okay? Where he got the idea from. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Thanks, everyone who has returned back to the chats, okay? Now, as I said, this hotel, the Stanley Hotel, is supposed to be like one of the most haunted places in the U.S. All right. So, freelance Oscar Stanley built and opened the Stanley Hotel in 1909. Now, its bold architecture is striking against the stunning and scenic backdrop of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. However, its location was strategically chosen to assist Mr. Stanley with a bout of tuberculosis. Fresh air was the main and only form of treatment for the disease at that time. So for over 100 years, the Stanley Hotel has catered to the upper class vacationers, but today it is mostly known for its close association with dark and macabre stories about hauntings and ghosts. Many know that the Stanley Hotel is they know of it as one of America's most haunted places, and its relationship with the horror genre as being the inspiration for Stephen King's best-selling horror novel, The Shining. Now, they have a room there that is notorious, and that room is room 217, where many of people have said that they saw ghostly figures in the middle of the night, from some of them saying they saw a woman standing over them. One person said that the woman kept putting the covers back on them as they would kick the covers off in the middle of the night. Now, I'm going to tell you like this, that sounds all crazy to me, because I tell you what, if I had been asleep in that room, oh, they monetized you again. Well, beloved, they monetized me on this channel, not on Authentic Black Goddess and not on the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. They demonetized those two. Okay. But so anyway, with that all being said, the room, there was people said that they saw ghosts in this room. And there was one person who said there was a woman that kept showing up in the middle of the night. Every time they would kick the covers off of them, the woman would be tucking them back in. Now, that's crazy to me, because I'm going to tell you like this. The first time I woke up and saw a ghostly figure standing over me, hovering, talking about putting some cover on me, oh, honey, I would have been going so quick. They wouldn't have to worry about putting the cover back on me again, okay? Please. So, anyway, your screen, hold on, your screen says the root of all evil. Your screen on still says root of all evil. Oh, thank you, people. Thank you for telling me that. All right. Let me change that really quick. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, you all are so observant. Thank you. Now, let me change this banner. So anyway, as I said, numerous people said that they stayed at this hotel and they saw ghostly figures late at night. And Stephen King was one of the people who stayed there. So with that all being said, let's talk more about this room 217. Now, the Stanley Hotel's most famous and requested room is without a doubt room 217. It gained notoriety after the famed horror writer Stephen King spent the night there with his wife at the Stanley Hotel back in 1974. This night would forever change the image of the hotel. Now, I'm going to tell you, some people are clearly crazy. Because you mean to tell me, after knowing that ghostly figures have been seen in this room, apparitions and orbs and all these things have been seen in room 217, people actually request to stay there? I wouldn't want to stay anywhere near that hotel. I'm sorry, but that's just me. So anyway, and I got to show you these pictures because some of these people are clearly crazy. Let me just show you this. Let me share my screen real quick. Because there's one woman posted up. She's staying in that room. And she's taking a picture, literally smiling and cheesing because she's inside of a ghostly haunted room. Make that make sense. There she is. Let me zoom in so you all can see this because I think this is so crazy. I know who wouldn't have been in there. This is her. Look at her pointing to the number outside of the door to let you know she's in that room. And here's what it looks like inside the room. Now, it does look plush and very nice room, but I wouldn't be staying there, honey. Oh, no. You couldn't have paid the queen to stay there, okay? Please. With all these people talking about seeing ghostly figures, I don't think so. So anyway, that was the most preferred room after Stephen King came back with the story of seeing a ghost in there. Now, King and his wife arrived there just before the hotel shut down for the winter. But they luckily were able to spend the nights. They were placed inside the presidential suites, room 217, being the only room left with clean bed sheets. Now, since the hotel was in the process of shutting down, there were no other guests checked in, and the Kings had the entire hotel all to themselves. So Stephen King spent a great deal of time drinking whiskey at the Stanley's famous bar before taking a walk to explore the hotel and retreating to his room. Now, it is fabled that he ran into 2 children on the 4th floor. Thank you, Terry, for your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. So it is said that he ran into 2 children on the 4th floor. Now, a sight that he thought was strange, since there was clearly no other guests supposed to be checked in staying at the hotel that night. And he also found out soon after that these children also did not belong to any of the staff members on the premises. Now, for those of you who saw the actual movie The Shining or read the book, then you see how they got all the ideas for the movie, because clearly it was a big fancy hotel. Now, in the movie, the hotel was called the Overlook. And I find that interesting because this hotel actually overlooked the Rocky Mountains. So that's probably why they called it the Overlook Hotel in the movie. Also, in the movie, there was a bar, and you remember there was a scene where there was ghostly figures at the bar pouring drinks, like people partying and dancing. And then there was the bartender, sitting there talking to Jack Nicholson in the movie. And remember, they kept seeing those 2 little girls who were like ghostly figures. So this is clearly where he got all that from. So after retiring to his room and falling asleep, King was awakened after having a dramatic dream, which caused him to wake up in a fright. Now, he had noticed a fire hose in the hallway just before entering his room, and he dreamt that his young son was strangled to death by this object. After walking and feeling quite spooked, he got up to smoke a cigarette. Well, by the time he had finished that cigarette, he had the best story that he was going to come up with, and that was The Shining. So he started writing down notes of what happened in the dream, and this is how he came up with that story. So while this legend is often associated with room 217, it's also known as its own. It's also has its own ghost story. You see, this story begins in 1911 when the Stanley Hotel was powered by gas lighting. And during a severe storm, the power was lost, and a maid was to enter room 217 to investigate what was going on. Well, Elizabeth Wilson caused an explosion upon entering the room with a candle, because remember, it was lit by gas. So she entered the room by candle and caused an explosion, partly destroying that area of the hotel and also sending her crashing through the floor, landing on the floor below and breaking her ankle. Now, Elizabeth survived the explosion, and she went on to live the rest of her life. So many now believe that she has returned to the hotel because this is where she died, and she died a tragic death. Or she didn't die a tragic death at the hotel, but nevertheless, she, had worked at the hotel. So they think that she's the person or one of the persons haunting the hotel, right? And they've said they've seen a ghost that fits her description hanging around room 217. And remember, she's the one that went into that room and caused the explosion. So guests have reported that their belongings will become unpacked during their stay in the room, like things just coming out of their suitcases and just, unfolded and lying in different places where they clearly didn't put it. Okay. They also said objects would move around on their own, and that the disembodied voice of a woman could be heard during the night, especially late at night after midnight. And some have also claimed to have seen the apparition of Elizabeth walking through room 217 and exiting through a wall, just walking straight through the wall, which was once a doorway. So the Stanley Hotel rests on a bed of quartz and limestone, which many believe is responsible for helping spirits' energy remain strong within the building. Now, this is just one of the theories that attempts to explain the high instances of paranormal activity that people have experienced with inside the haunted Stanley Hotel. And here's another picture of it. It clearly looks creepy to me. So I'm going to show you all this picture here. Okay. 1 second, people. My screen. My whole screen just disappeared. Don't y'all find it strange that these weird things happen to my computer screen when I'm telling these stories sometimes? I'm going to have to burn my sage after this, people. I'm going to have to burn my sage. Like literally the whole screen just popped off the computer. Very crazy. Okay. So now I have to go back to where I started. Hold on. Okay, here we go. That is so crazy. Remember that night when I was telling that spooky story and the screen kept jumping? Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to share my screen so you all can see how spooky this hotel looks. This particular area of it. Okay, here we go. Everyone, please like and share the video. Got spooks and say, he says Melody Brown. Oh, okay, please. Terry said spirits. Then General Louverture said, here's Johnny. You all are so crazy. Okay, so hope you all can see that. Now you see the old style mirrors and things and the old wallpaper. Carpet on the stairs, all of that is like vintage stuff, right? Clearly looks creepy to me, okay? Clearly. So anyway, okay, so let me continue. So anyway, they say there has been so much instances, and especially Luton says you should check out Dr. Sleep. It's the sequel to The Shining. Honey, let me tell you something. I saw that movie. I saw that movie, and let me tell you something. That movie had so many subliminals. If you know anything about the adrenochrome that they talk about with the elites, that movie was all about that stuff. Very interesting. No, ma'am, and no, sir. Watch something come out that mirror, okay? Exactly, Silent D. October Open says your son coming in to spook you was the best. Don't remind me. Yes, it was, right? Visited outside the hotel, not the inside. Really Estates Park. Really Estes Park, not the hotel. Okay, Butterflies. Okay. Butterflies 70. And Sexy Ball says, yes, I've watched it. Okay. Yes. Oh, and thank you, beloved, for your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Okay, so now they say the Stanleys are thought to still linger within the hotel that they built. Freeland Oscar Stanley has been sighted all throughout the hotel, yet it is most frequently seen inside, or he is most frequently seen inside the hotel's bar. Many of the staff believe that he is still looking for other operations of his hotel, and they claim to be able to feel his presence around them. Now, Freeland's wife, Flora, was an avid musician during her life, and some say she continues her hobby of playing the piano at the hotel. Now, can you imagine that? Sitting up in that hotel and you hear some music playing and you look over and see the piano keys moving, but nobody's there. Say what now? I'm out, quick as a flash, okay? For those of you who saw the movie The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, do y'all remember that part where Don Knotts had been bet that he was going to stay in that haunted house? And he heard that organ playing late at night? That movie was funny, honey. I loved Don Knotts. That man was clearly crazy. Okay? So anyway, phantom sounds of piano music when nobody was around have been reportedly heard throughout the music room and the concert hall at the Stanley Hotel also. Now, a favorite spot for capturing apparitions within photos is the grand staircase of the Stanley Hotel, which proudly greets guests as they walk through the front doors. Several photos of a woman dressed in the turn of the century garb on the hotel stairs has been pictured there. This hotel clearly looks spooky. I don't know how anybody wants to stay there. Some people are crazy. I'll tell you one thing, though. I bet you no black people staying there. Oh, I promise you that. I can guarantee you that's not one black person that will stay there, okay? Because what black people don't do is mess around with haunted dwellings, all right? All you have to do is tell us you thought you saw a ghost. You don't have to be conclusive. Just say that you thought you saw one. Yes, Don Knotts' look always made him even more funnier to me, just like Rodney Dangerfield's look. Absolutely, yes, right? Those big eyes that Don Knotts had, and what's his name, Rodney Dangerfield, he had those big eyes too, right? And that wide mouth. Clearly, they were hilarious. Now, the 4th floor is said to be the most haunted within the Stanley Hotel. This area was once where the maids' quarters were located, and it is thought that many of their children still reside in that area. The ghostly sounds of children playing, giggling, and running up and down the hallways are frequently reported by guests, even when living children are not around, okay? So notably haunted rooms include 401, which is supposedly haunted by Lord Dunraven, the former owner of the land that the hotel is built on, and it features a closet that opens and closes on its own accord. Now, I don't know about you all, but that's one thing I definitely wouldn't want to be around. Closets opening and closing. How many of you, General Overture said, Buckingham House? Yes. Oh, Charity says, love you, Queen. Thank you, beloved, and I love you right black. But so listen, people. A closet opening and closing. Let me tell you something. When Don Knotts was scared and his eyes bugged out in the Ghost of Mr. Chicken, says Piggy's Picks. Okay, now that was funny. But let me tell y'all something. How many of you, when you were a kid, you were so afraid of the closet door, you couldn't sleep with the closet door open at night? Because everybody knew that's where the boogeyman was, right? And that's in there talking about closet doors opening and closing. Please, honey, I would be nowhere in sight. And so anyway, they say that some people have reported that the closet doors would open and close on its own accord. And that was room 401. Now they say in room 428, it is also a paranormal hot spot, having furniture which moves around by itself, and the ghost of a cowboy who watches you as you sleep stands at the foot of your bed. Excuse me, say what now? A ghostly cowboy, please, okay? Yes, exit stage left. That's what I would have been doing. Now, also another hot spot of activity is actually underneath the hotel. As you see, they have a cave system. Now, this was used by former staff to navigate through the hotel. It was thought, or it is thought, that some of the former employees continue to linger there, including a former chef. He is thought to be responsible for the smells of home-baked goods wafting through what is referred to as the tunnel. The tunnel has also been rumored to be the hangout spot for deceased cats. Many people have encountered this gray, ghostly feline with big, bright, green, glowing eyes. I'm going to show you pictures of all these things when I finish. Now, the concert hall. Now, that has been said to be the most haunted spot in the Stanley's hotel grounds, the concert hall. They say that it is thought to be haunted by several different spirits. One of these is a former employee by the name of Paul, who worked as a handyman in the 1980s. Now, they say Paul took pride in his work, and there was no surprise that he returned to this place to work after his death. They say he is thought to communicate with people who have captured EVPs of a male voice stating, "Get out." If you know what an EVP is, it's like an electronic voice detecting thing or whatever. You can hear like ghostly noises wherever you think there's paranormal activity. You know, these paranormal investigators often use them, right? And so they can actually pick up sounds and things like knockings on the walls, doors slamming, cabinets, whatever, and voices. So anyway, they would hear him saying, "Get out." He wouldn't have to tell me twice, trust me. He also has his own room in the basement level of the concert hall where he usually interacts with male ghosts. Or male guests, with male guests. So just across from Paul's room is another. It's also occupied by a ghostly resident. This spirit is known as Lucy. Now, she is rumored to have been a homeless woman who died in this spot from exposure to the cold. Yet her origin is truly unknown. She apparently communicates with paranormal enthusiasts who visit the Stanley Hotel, and she has befriended some of the young children's spirits who also frequent her room. This stuff all looks creepy. Where do y'all see these pictures? Now, strangely, the Stanley Hotel also contains an object, not the original hotel, but supposedly extremely haunted. The object is stored in the basement of the concert hall and is referred to as the creepy mirror by tour guides. It is quite an old antique piece, being older than the Stanley Hotel itself, yet its origins are unknown. It is thought that the mirror contains some sort of energy trapped within it. Many guests over the years have captured figures and apparitions standing next to them when taking photos of their reflection in the mirror. These figures are creepily not apparent to the naked eye. And the Stanley Hotel has been immortalized as one of the most haunted places in the world. For anyone with an interest in the paranormal or a connection to horror films or fiction, the Stanley Hotel is a must place to visit. Now, the person says that they stayed there. The person who wrote this article says, during my stay there, I was able to book room 217. Clearly, they're crazy. And they say, make sure to request ahead of time to grab this room. Special guests for it can only be made over the phone. A special request for it can only be made over the phone. It is a little on the pricier side, yet was worth the cost for me to be able to tick that off my bucket list. Be prepared to have tour groups and visitors looking for room 217 to take a selfie and to drop by at all hours of your stay. I was able to have some fun with this by banging and rattling the door handle as they approached. You'll be able to watch their scared reactions through the peephole in the door. Now, they also say during their night inside of the hotel at room 217, they said they were able to gain an intelligent response through their spirit box and heard some taps on the wall during the early morning hours. They said, let me know in the comments below if you have had your own paranormal experiences at the Stanley Hotel. Make sure to explore as much of the hotel as possible. The tunnel and the concert hall are only accessible through a guided tour. The daytime history tour will cover tales including Stephen King. The nighttime paranormal tour mostly centered on the concert hall and the tunnel. And I was surprised not to hear any stories of the upstairs hotel rooms. Finally, make sure to check out the amazing bar. You'll find some delicious eats and some of the Shining's inspired drinks. I tried both the red rum punch cocktail. You all remember red rum from Shining, which is murder spelled backwards. So they said, I tried both the red rum punch cocktail and the red rum ale, which is locally brewed. Both were great. They said this was one of their favorite places to explore. Scary stuff, Queen. Okay, so I'm going to show you all some of these pictures. All right. They have a picture of the bar on here as well. Yes, so Swirl Girl says cult classic. Absolutely. But I never knew that this was about a true hotel, honey, and truly a haunted place. I never knew The Shining was based on true facts. Okay. So now let me show you some of these photographs. Now this is the one I showed you with the mirrors, clearly creepy. And this is one of the bar. Looks a lot like the bar they had on The Shining to me. This is the staircase, the ascending the grand staircase in the lobby of the haunted Stanley Hotel. It looks very creepy to me, people. And this hallway looks even more so. Look at that. I mean, that looks just like the hallway in The Shining, where they saw those two little creepy girls walking around, right? Melanated Brown says, right, I didn't know that either. All right. The General Lovateur says, buckle your seatbelts. Now look at this, people. This is the hotel's haunted underground tunnel system known as the tunnel. And they give tours through this. It clearly looks creepy. This is the outside of it. Outside of the concert hall, the most haunted building, which is part of the hotel. Okay, so this isn't the hotel itself. This is the concert hall that is on the grounds. And this like really the most haunted part of the building. And look at this right here. Now, looking at the main performance stage inside the Stanley Hotel's concert hall. That's the main performance stage. You see the stage all the way in the back, but look how big the room is. And then here's the mirror that they say people saw, creepy stuff in. Looking into the creepy haunted mirror inside the basement of the Stanley Hotel's concert hall. Honey, I would have been nowhere in sight. This is the lounge area outside of room 217 at the Stanley. And that's the drink, the red rum ale and red rum punch. This is what they had while they were outside or inside room 217. So clearly creepy people. You know what? I don't have to visit Stanley Hotel to believe that it's haunted. I'll just take their words for it. Okay? Please. So with that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed that spooky story. But we're going to be coming right back with an even more spooky story. For those of you who saw the movie The Rites, clearly I saw it and it was so scary. Yes, it was based on a true story about a real priest who performed exorcisms. In fact, he's one of the few practicing exorcists in the United States. And with that all being said, this movie starred Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs, no less. So if you all saw that movie, you're going to enjoy this next story. Because we're going to talk about, the actual priest. All right? You need to stand in front of it in the middle of the night. If waits, hold on. Wait long enough, you'll see Dracula. General Overture, please cut it out. It's not Dracula. Come right back for more spooky stories, okay? Thank you. Very entertaining and informative, says Meta Simplicus. Thank you, beloved. Thank you. So with that all being said, I hope to see you all right back in the chats. And I will be returning right after these brief messages, okay? Make sure that you like and share the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Make sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time I go live on here. Also, if you ever notice that you're not receiving notifications, just always double check and make sure you're still subscribed, okay? And don't forget you can follow me on Instagram at QueenAhmadiyyah, on Instagram at divine_goddess_27, on Twitter at dgoddess27, and Brighton and Patreon at Queen Ahmadiyyah. Peace.